Hey folks, Keith193 Lumber coming back at you with another beer. This is a Fidens beer. This was given to me by Kyle from No Hype Beer Reviews when I saw him last week. This is their Rose Double India Pale Ale. And as I understand it, this was an experimental beer that they did, and I don't know if they actually do a poll or if they just base it on interactions or whatever on social media or something. But they do there, and I still don't remember what their experimental series is called. But if people like it enough, they turn it into a regular or a reoccurring beer, I should say, and they name it after a flower. This was canned on 8/15. Today is September 8th, so it is almost a month old. Just under a month old. Like a week less than a month. So like 3 weeks. Give or take. Oh, yeah. I forgot to finish reading the can. I got ahead of myself. It's 8.2% alcohol by volume, and the hops are Citra and Galaxy. I do like this artwork. Because I definitely think it definitely looks like artwork. Maybe it's a picture of a rose that has a filter on it or something. But yeah, I didn't rinse this out. Because sometimes when I rinse my glasses out, sometimes the shitty water here makes it worse. And sometimes not rinsing them out is gross. So I can't win, ever. I'm going to have to yell at Claire in a second. I can see her. She's already causing trouble. Yeah, that is... It does have that kind of milky... I feel like milky is not a way I want to describe this. As far as Kyle's told me, they don't use lactose in any of their beers. One of the owners is vegan, so I believe that. I think he said they use like honey or something in one of their beers, but yeah. So it has that like whitish, milky kind of thing, but it's orangey yellow. Hazy. I can't even... It's too close. I can't tell if I'm getting any light through that. But yeah. The head is also like a milky-ish kind of thing. That's about half a finger. Yeah. It reminds me of when we froth milk in the frother thingy. Or when Katie does. She likes oat milk. That is her preferred plant-based milk. Yeah, it looks like a hazy IPA. Let's see what it smells like. Ooh. This is... I don't know if the name is giving me things, but... This is floral. It smells floral. A little bit of pineapple. I'm going to pour a little bit more in here just so that it's... Hi, Clara. A little bit. It does have a little green on it. This is definitely coming off like hop burn-y. But it's very subtle, so it may not translate that way in the taste. We'll get to that when we get there. I want to say there's a touch of stone fruit in this. Like peach rings. I think peach rings. I was going to say peach, but I think it's more specifically peach ring. And there's like this subtle citrusy thing floating around in here. A little bit of zest, and I would touch a peel. Touch a pithiness. Zest is the peel. Well, I guess the peel is the pithy and the zest. There's also like I don't know if it's a malt thing, but it feels like there's like a hefty thing to it. It's also 8%. I don't know. I know with a lot of these things, it's like 2 pounds of Pilsner malt or whatever, and then 5 pounds of just sugar to get to the ABV or whatever. I don't know. Well, that was based on like a 5-pound recipe, I think, or a 5-gallon recipe, I think, in my head. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to just stop talking and drink it, and thanks, Kyle, and cheers. That mouthfeel is fucking weird. Like, it kind of, like, right at the beginning, it tastes, or not tastes, but the what's the word? I can't think of the fucking word. There's a very, like, milky character to this. But then it gets creamy in a non-milky way a little bit. That's interesting. And it's not giving me... Because the other thing that I didn't mention before was I was kind of, based on the smell, I was kind of expecting this to give me like super congestion, like super quick, but that's not the case. It's way more citrusy in the taste. Lemon, lime. There's probably some orange in there. Probably some other citruses as well. That greenness did not translate the same way. There is a vegetalness to it, but it is not overwhelming. It is not, and it's kind of cool because it's not that bitter. It's a little drying on the back or on the finish. There is a subtle pineapple thing in there. There's also, I don't know if I said it in the nose, but I was kind of getting a fruit cocktail vibe-ish in the nose, and it's a little more in the taste. Excuse me, Clara. What are you doing? Yeah, I definitely think there's a malt thing in here because there is a heftiness that I don't think like just super hopping it would do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the amount of hops that they use and they don't filter it obviously would create some of that, but this is like a glass of hot milk. That's what this is. A little bit of that peach ring thing. I feel like even though it's subtle, even though it's not overwhelming or whatever, that vegetalness is kind of lying on top of all those flavors that I was getting in the nose. So they're not quite popping as much as I thought they were going to based on the nose, because that greenness in the nose was definitely not. It was maybe on the same level, maybe a little bit less. Of course, smelling it now, that's all I smell. I oddly enjoy this. I think it's because it's not giving me the congestion thing. It's 8.2%. The mouthfeel is super cool. I wish that green thing wasn't there. But there's enough of other things that it's still enjoyable. Yeah. I want to know what that hefty, because there's that hefty presence thing in there, but I'm not getting. It's kind of just. It's not a flavor. It's just a quality of the beer, characteristic of the beer. I want to say it's malt. It's a malt-driven, hefty thing. That's what I'm putting my money on, even though I don't know. Maybe Kyle knows. Maybe Kyle will comment on this and let me know. Let us all know. Yeah. This might be my favorite one so far. I don't really, my memory is not so good the last few years, so I don't really remember things all that well. So I don't really remember any of the other Fidens, even the ones I've had recently. I don't really remember that much. But I think this might be my favorite one so far. I wish I was getting a little more. Unless I was making it up. But that floral thing that I was getting in the nose initially, I wish I was getting some of that in the taste right now. I mean, I guess that vegetal thing, the way it's coming off, there is a floral component to it, but not really. Not as much as I would like. Anyway, let's just put it that way. All right. So, thank you, Kyle, for the beer. And thanks for hanging out. I hope you're doing well. Taking care of yourselves, taking care of each other. You can like this video if you'd like to. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can follow me on Instagram, 93lumber. That's spelled out, 93lumber. And we will see you in the next one. Cheers.